each other. Sorry. Okay. To help each other grow and use our businesses as a force for good. So good is the core and the key for us. We want to be a force for good and for people and for the planet. So we collaborate to create meaningful relationships that will inspire and help us grow with this noble purpose. Our vision is to be the go-to community for good in Southeast Europe. And from here to learn, to get inspired, to grow and experience meaningful relationships and having purposeful communication. We want to grow organically. So as you see, we are getting bigger and bigger event by event to invite leaders and entrepreneurs like yourself who are purpose curious and purpose led. So we want to create as well awareness of the B Corp journey and educate leaders in this region about the B impact assessment, which leads to the gold standard, the benchmark for organizations that are a force for good for people and the planet. Thus, we are as well co-creators of systematic change. So our goal is to reach and to inspire at least 500 companies in Southeast Europe to obtain B Corp certification by 2030. So we hope we will be on this board together with all of you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Irina. It's really inspiring to see all of this mission and vision that you have in the Good South community. Thank you very much for choosing to partner with us today to organize this first event. And because, you know, we are going to talk about B Corp and B Lab, and we have here Nicola Gemio, who is from the B Lab Europe organization. If you would like to say something about B Lab, because we don't know it so well, and the floor is yours, Nicolas.
Thank you very much, Corina. It's a pleasure to be here with you today. I'm just going to share a couple words about B Lab as an organization, as an introduction for those of you who don't know much about it yet, but I'm really eager to hear directly from the companies. That's mainly what we're here for today, and also happy to answer any questions that I may be able to address with you. So B Lab, the organization behind the B Corp movement, its vision is that of an inclusive, equitable, and regenerative economic system for all people and the planet. It's very ambitious, and that's why we need the help of, you know, as many hands as possible to make it a reality. We're actually not an organization, but a network of organizations, just for you to know, and especially for those of you who do embark on a B Corp journey. At some point, you will be in touch with different entities. And so B Lab Europe, which is the organization that I work for, we're headquartered here in Amsterdam, and it was started in 2015. But B Lab Global, the first organization, was started in 2006. That's when the B Corp movement started more formally. And we have different strategies to come closer to our ultimate goal, to change the economic system. Our first thing is driving the adoption of sustainability standards. And how did this come about? Well, this slide is about how the B Corp movement started. Some people have no idea, and it's an interesting story. It's about 3 entrepreneurs who started a basketball clothing brand back in the 90s, and they were quite successful. They scaled it. They found a market fit. They were the second competitor to Nike. Maybe some of you know the End One brand. But then in the 2000s, early 2000s, they decided to sell the company. these are Jaco and Gilbert, Bart Houlihan, and Andrew Kasoy. They decided to sell the company to investors, and they saw that as soon as the company changed ownership, all the good practices that was part of their success and part of their recognition, the good practices that they had put in the company that were very innovative at the time, but really signified that it was a responsible company that they were creating. As soon as the ownership changed, this vanished. All the good practices evaporated. Investors focused on the short-term profits only, and slowly but surely the company declined. And so Jay, Bart, and Andrew were wondering, what can they do to prevent this from happening in the future to other entrepreneurs? And they thought of another social enterprise, but they thought there are already enough social enterprises and enough purpose-driven companies that are doing fantastic work. So they thought that something else was needed, perhaps a nonprofit organization that was actually going to give more visibility and more power to these purpose-driven businesses. And the first thing that they realized that they needed, as I was saying before, was standards, sustainability standards that organizations could put in practice and adopt. That's the first thing, our first goal as an organization. The main thing that we do also in my job, serving as a point of contact for companies in your region and in other European regions. That's our first and foremost goal. The second thing that we do is certifying companies, so verifying that positive impact that they have measured so that they can show it to the outside world. The third thing that we do as an organization and that we hire people for is broadcasting business as a force for good. So sharing across all of our communications channels stories of positive impact and success from B Corps and non-B Corps. The fourth thing that we do is catalyzing policy change, so trying to influence the rules of the game so that all business has to be a force for good one day. And last, more broadly, what we also do and spend time on is developing networks of local, regional, and global communities for change. And that's hopefully also what will happen today as a result of this event that Corina and Good South have put together. So that's about it from my side. This is just for you to get a picture. Again, those of you who haven't been following the B Corp movement closely, this is the growth in number of companies pursuing certification that we have experienced. We were not ready for it, especially since 2020. And so it's taking a long time for some companies to achieve certification, just because the review process is very thorough and exhaustive, but also because we were overwhelmed by demand. And I think we're coming here together today also to try to understand this phenomenon, how this happened, why so many companies are doing this change, how it could be benefiting them, and yeah, to learn from them. So really looking forward to that. I'll share a couple of links on the chat now. First to the B Impact Assessment, which is the free online tool where B Lab standards live. And I'll also share a link to the public B Corp directory, which is the place where you can see all certified B Corps globally. And thank you again. Back to you for now, Corina.
Thank you very much, Nico. Thank you for this great presentation about B Lab Europe. I'm sure that some of you who don't know the organization had found some interesting data there, and I've seen some people raising their eyebrows. So it's really interesting to know what B Lab is doing. And after all this, discussion and telling you about the B Corp movement, I like to initiate something which I call the B Impact stories. I think that learning from people who have been through the process and who have been and done it, it's very, very important, and it's something that has so much value. And this is why today I invited 3 wonderful speakers to share from their experience going through the B Corp process or in various stages of the process. So I'll start with one, which is very, how to say, coming from a country that is very close to my heart. This is Greece. George, you're representing POLYPAN. This is a very innovative and very known and successful company in Greece, but also worldwide, because you have so many solutions for so many industries, from agriculture to construction. I will not say it because you can say it better than me, but I'll just say that POLYPAN has become a B Corp this year, so you can share with us your whole information and journey, you know, what it was for you as a CEO, but also for your team to go through the process. So I'd like to invite George Polychronopoulos to share his journey with us. George, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Corina. You pronounced my surname perfectly, first of all, which doesn't happen often. Thank you for this wonderful... Thanks for this wonderful initiative, Corina, Elena, and Irina. I'm Giorgos Polychronopoulos. I am the CEO of POLYPAN Group. And as Corina told you, we are happy to be a B Corp since the last few months. So today I'm here to share with you the journey of transformation that led us to the B Corp certification. Very few words about the company. POLYPAN Group is a small, medium-sized family business. It's based in Athens, Greece, and it was founded around more than 20 years ago. What we do is that our mission is to provide industries with innovative and functional ingredients that can enable these industries to manufacture final products to improve people's lives. Now, for example, in the food industry, our R&D department spent years of research to develop natural antimicrobials that industries can use in the food products, in biscuits, in bakery goods, in sausages, in meat products, and replace chemical preservatives that they have been using up to now. So we offer a natural alternative to preservatives. We help them produce cakes, biscuits, whatever you mentioned, dairy products, without preservatives, and we extend the shelf life of food products and contribute to food waste reduction. So we have this mission towards doing something good towards society, towards consumers, which has led us to develop functional ingredients, which we now export to 20 countries, including several Balkan countries. Now, moving to the B Corp movement, once we started to know more about B Corps and combining that with our intention to be a for-profit business company that does good, that has a positive social impact on the consumers, we recognize the necessity to evolve, to transform, and to align our operational ethos with the principles that foster a better world for our communities, right? So we decided to start the journey. Of course, it was not without a challenge. We had to go deep into our operations. And it took us approximately 14 months of working towards the certification until we finally got to the B Corp, got to become a B Corp. So to conclude this short story, because it will be, I think, better to have a discussion later on, we saw that, first of all, the whole organizational structure, we saw a big, a remarkable synergy within the team. I mean, we could see that our colleagues were eager to see this process evolving until we reach the B Corp certification. And we definitely are here today because we envision a future where more B Corps are here in our region. We are the second B Corp in Greece. I hope that the next time we meet again, we will be 10, 20, and the same in all neighboring countries, because definitely we need to be more B Corps, and envision a future where our business becomes a beacon of positive social change. So this is a short introduction from my side, and yeah, hope we have some time for discussion later on.
Yeah, thank you very much, George. I'd like to ask you just one question. Maybe if you know what your score, where did you score the highest? Because there are several impact areas. And why do you think was that is specific to you?
Yes. I had it in front of me earlier today. So it was quite balanced. Environment came first. The reason is that the nature of the product that we sell to the food industries has to do with food waste reduction. It's a really environmental solution. So it was what came first, followed by workers section. What was third was community, where we scored a little bit lower, and there was a reason for it. If I could share with you, one problem we face is that we create functional ingredients, and sometimes we have to source innovative ingredients that we cannot find in the neighborhood or in our community. I mean, we have to import from other countries which are far away. So scoring some questions were hard for us because we have no other choice, like how much do you rely on local suppliers? This is a tough question for us. And but yes, the best category was environment, followed by worker section.
Thank you very much, George. And of course, we will have more time, and I hope that people now hearing you and your journey will come at the end. We have a Q&A session. I hope that it's going to be full of questions for you, and how do you manage now maybe to keep the bar high once that you are a B Corp? I'd like to continue and go to our next guest, which is a wonderful entrepreneur in her own, but also a representative of a company, one of the most innovative and successful companies in Romania. And I'd like to invite Maria Desmirean, board member of PROMATERIS Romania, to join from her experience going through the B Impact assessment. Maria and I have worked together through the B Impact assessment, and now it's finished and it's submitted to B-Lab Europe for evaluation, and evaluation will start very soon. But I'd like to hear from Maria, how was that journey? Please, Maria, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the invitation, for having me, and for going through this process, rather a journey together. So I must say that even though when we first started this, we thought it would be a bit easier and a bit more easy to go through the process, we soon discovered that it was actually very challenging for us. The reason why we first thought that it would be easier is because we already went through a transition in terms of environmental progress. So we are managing a company that has more than 60 years on the market, which used to produce single-use plastics and dropped the production of single-use plastic in 2018, 2019. And now we are producing bio-based products that are biodegradable and compostable. So we changed the business model and we changed the product, and we had a lot of attention and care in what kind of equipment we are using and investing in terms of energy efficiency. We worked a lot on R&D and the development of the product to respect the principle of eco-design. So we've been through a lot and a long process environmentally. Then of course we did it for the good governance part, because the company is listed on Bucharest Stock Exchange. So being listed, of course, this in terms of reporting and in terms of good governance, we needed to have certain standards, so which already have a lot of disclosure and differentiate us on the market. But the challenge came from the fact that when we started working and looking at what other companies that already have the certification, we soon understood that there's a whole new level of corporate responsibility or sustainability to begin with. So we learned a lot. We implemented a lot of changes in our company within this process, and we acknowledge where are our faults and where are the places that we can still where there's still a place for improvement. So what I can say is that now we are waiting for the assessment, and we are working on the plan that we made together in order to reach our goals in the future.
Thank you very much, Maria. That's a great journey to share. And you know, if I could ask you the similar question I asked George, where you feel that you have had the big impact, and why do you think is that?
Well, I would have said that we would have scored best in good governance, but then the reality showed us that actually the best score we obtained in the workers section, and secondly in the environment. On the environment, somehow we were expecting this because of the nature of the project, of the product, and because of our focus in the past years on sustainability and the environment. But it was also nice to see that the workers part is very well organized and represented in our chart.
You are actually a very good company to work for, I guess. If I would like to work for a sustainable company that has a sustainable and circular model, definitely I would go to you, and I would go to PROMATERIS. Thank you very much for sharing this, Maria. And maybe if we have questions for you,
okay.
I know that maybe you will not be available all the session, but if there are questions for you,
okay.
I'll move them somehow to you.
Okay.
Thank you very much for this
so much.
wonderful journey.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'd like to invite now our third speaker. It's a wonderful entrepreneur in her own, Ioana Hardy. She has set up some years ago the Impactors Group, which is a purpose-led organization. And Ioana decided, I guess, last year to try the B Impact assessment and then to become a B Corp. So I encourage her to start the journey. But I would like to let her tell you more about her journey through the B Impact assessment. And now she also is at the end of the evaluation phase. So you have a little bit more to share. And I like you to do this. So the floor is yours, Ioana. Thank you for coming today here.
Thank you, Corina. Thank you for the invitation, and many congratulations for this initiative. It's so good to see that this is going to start in Romania, and also good to see that all the countries around are starting on this path. So absolutely very happy to share my my journey. So I guess I should start by saying that Impactors Group, as the name says, has impact already at heart. So what we do, or the mission of Impactors Group, is really to equip entrepreneurs that solve environmental and social challenges with the marketing and sales skills and tools that they need to scale up their solutions. Okay, we really need this solution to scale up, and very fast. And by scaling means that they also create a bigger positive impact in their communities in general in the world. So we do this through various trainings and programs that we have. So once again, when I set up the business, it had impact at its core, but I realized, you know, over the years that most of this was in my head. And, you know, from time to time, it was kind of captured in some processes, you know, some sort of structure. So I really wanted to go beyond this and really create more structure in the way I create that impact. So really see what kind of, and measure the impact I'm creating, where I'm creating impact, where are the gaps, where I can create more. So it's really that idea of how can I, put this company on the way of creating even bigger impact. So that's how I knew about B Corp for quite some time. And then I said, okay, this is it. I have to understand more about this framework, because for me, it was a framework that could help me get to the structure. And I knew Corina was doing this. So I really went through, she has a wonderful discovery call where she really takes you through the process and what it means, and answers all the questions. I said, okay, this is it, I'm committed, I'm going ahead. So that was the beginning of the journey. And then it really was, for those of you who are not familiar with how it works, there are 4 impact area: governance, environment, community, and customers. And for each of these areas, there are several questions. And it was a really, really helpful journey, because through the questions, so you answer questions, and the way you answer them, you uncover more questions. So it really led into a path where I discovered, oh, I'm actually doing this. Or, oh, I'm not doing this, but it's so easy, I can actually do it now. Or, oh, this is, okay, I never thought of this to be doing, and this can be so helpful for, for my company, for my customers. So it really was a journey of discovery, but in a very, that's what I liked about it, in a very strategic way. So very, very structured, that structure I was looking for. So yeah, it lasted, I think, answering the question about 3 months. And now I'm in the last stage, which is the verification stage. So I answered all the questions, shared all the documents. And by the way, this has been great for me, kind of formalizing my thinking into processes, policies, documents, impact reports, everything. And it's not something that is just for now, it's also for long term. So yeah, it's been an amazing journey. Bumpy at time, it wasn't always easy to answer everything, but that was the beauty of it. So yeah.
Thank you very much, Ioana. And I have to say, yes, maybe, this part of documentation and providing documents that sustain your claim that you are working responsibly, it's maybe one hard task to do. And I would like to address to you the same question I addressed to George and Maria. What do you think was the area where you scored the most, and why? Please share with us.
Yes. So very interestingly, I thought that I will score the highest in the customer area, because again, I'm a service business, customers are at the heart, and I really put a lot of effort in this. So it is quite high customer, but interestingly, community came up even higher. And I see 2 reasons, and I didn't realize that. So it really the process made me realize, I think, for 2 reasons. I really pay attention a lot to people I work with. So whether they are suppliers or people I partner with, generally people who are in the ecosystem of Impactors Group. And that means I do give priority to women-led businesses. I work with underrepresented. Again, even last year, I hired, because I worked quite a bit in Africa. I hired blind people who are really, needed jobs. So this, I think, increased the score, and also made me realize that I'm on the right direction, that it's really aligned with what I want to create and what I want to do. And the other one was the pro bono services. So I volunteer quite a lot, again, align with my mission, or just equipping entrepreneurs. So I gave quite a lot of my time to entrepreneurs and organizations. But what came out very interestingly is that I can actually structure my time better. So when I volunteer, I can really focus on certain areas. So I guess that's why the community was quite high. It was triggered by the work I do around the people I partner with. So it's not just price, it's the values that they carry and what they're trying to do. And also the pro bono services that I offer.
Thank you very much, Ioana. It's wonderful to hear your journey. It's really interesting to see how you, being a woman-led business, managed to do so much for the community and really be a pillar for the community and for all the projects that you do, a lot of volunteering. And yes, we need to manage our time better when we are entrepreneurs. That's one risk, that the work takes us completely, and then we are all there. Thank you very much for sharing. I'd like to bring some interesting facts about the B Corp certification process, with a focus on the BIA. We mentioned already, so maybe others who do not know are asking, what is BIA? So B Impact Assessment. I'd like to share some slides with you and bring some information also to the rest of the tribe today. To something which is connected to impact. We always talk about companies and what they're doing. It should be impactful. Your day-to-day operations, your impact model, you should look into being impactful. But where does it come from? This impact, it comes from us. It comes from you as leaders. It comes from people who are leading the company. So how do you lead for impact? This takes me to the next speaker that we have, which is Elena Hinova, one of the co-founders of Good South, our partner today. And I hope she is here. I don't see her, but I hope she's here. Yes, I see her now. Elena, please tell us what does make sense to conduct a business and to lead a business in order to create an impact. I'm looking forward to hear from you. Please.
Thank you so much, Corina, for first and foremost for the partnership and for the inspiration and for the discussions we had, and that we are holding hands in that journey for good. And thank you for the comprehensive presentation you gave and the explanations, which is very valid for me as well, because I started a few months ago that journey with the B Impact Assessment, and I would definitely need some help in that journey as well.
I'm here for you, Elena.
Thank you so much. My name is Elena, as you heard, and I'm co-founder of the Good South community and also a founder of Thriving Leadership, which is a small boutique company and is focused on leadership transformation. So in the last 9.5 years, after transitioning from corporate career to the field of executive leadership and team coaching, I have experienced really exciting inner transformations of leaders who really believe their inner work to achieving high level of consciousness was the pathway for them to transform their organizations to become really purposeful and impactful. On the other hand, I have also witnessed other situations where leaders they do that inner work, they want to have positive impact, but they feel stifled, they feel blocked from hierarchies and hidden agendas and politics in organizations, and honestly, they feel helpless and disengaged. So what happens with them? They seek to leave these organizations so that they can have positive impact somewhere else. So the big question here is, where does real organizational transformation for positive impact start? And it is from the top layers of organizations, from the leadership. There are 7 levels of leadership, and they stem from one's level of consciousness. So the higher the level of consciousness, the more we're able to see beyond our small selves, our egos, and go beyond the dimension of duality, where we live in the right or wrong, black or white perspective, wherein we're judgmental and limited. So if we move to the 6th and the 7th level of leadership, we are humble. We see interconnectedness of all things, and hence we're humbled ourselves from seeing this interconnectedness, and we experience life through the lens of joy, peace, and empathy. Hence we look for synergies, working with others in unity, and tap into our boundless creativity so that we find better solutions for society and our precious planet. I want to tap into the B impact assessment here and to say, and you know the ones who went on that journey already, that it is not by chance that the first topic in the B impact assessment is governance. If we look deeper into the governance topic, the very first criterion to be assessed from B-Lab is mission and engagement. So there are options, to be more precise, 5 options in the mission and engagement topic, from the lowest, which says creating positive social or environmental impact is not a focus for our business, to the highest, we treat our social and environmental impact as a primary measure of success for our business and prioritize it even in cases where it may not drive profitability. So what we see here, it is a big chasm between these 2 options. We can also guess that the leadership who chooses to treat their social and environmental impact as a primary measure of success is highly conscious and aware that organizational purpose, which inspires positive impact, is at the core of their business, at the core of their organization. And we have gathered here today to inspire such a change that leads to impactful and positive results for people and planet. And to the topic, leadership and impact. For me, these 2 are intrinsically connected. In my language, I call it thriving leadership. And for me, this is a holistic form of leadership that includes 3 components, where the first component is a healthy and harmonious relationship leaders have with themselves. So this is reflected in their internal integration, meaning harmony with themselves, with their essential nature, with their core, and harmony with their followers. The second component of this is the leader's relationship with their followers. So for me, these are thriving relationships that are based on trust, that are nourished by healthy communications and are focused on growth and the realization of organization's vision and purpose, and where behaviors are aligned with core values. And the third component of thriving leadership is the way these multidimensional relationships impact the achievement of sustainable organizational thriving. And this influences social and physical environments, where here I mean nature and natural resources. So you can see that this whole processes of sustainability start, and I can claim here, start inside out, starts from the leadership of any organizations. So that's why it's so important for us to tackle this topic when we talk about transformation, sustainable transformation, and positive impact in the world. So I'm very grateful to be here. Thank you for your attention, and I'm very open to answer your questions.
Thank you very much, Elena. I could stay here and listen to you, because you really bring some hot topics for me. You know, you just said transformation and sustainability starts with the leadership. So starts with the person who is there, starts with me, with you, with the rest of you who are leaders in your way, in what you're doing, in your businesses, in your jobs, and so on. And I would say that with these wonderful remarks from Elena, let's start a big question and answer sessions, because I would like really to talk more about your journeys and how this maybe leadership influence is changing or has changed your journey. So we have already a question in the chat, and the question comes from Ronald. And to all participants, I guess, especially to all the speakers, why did you choose to go for certification? Do you use it for internal improvement? And or how do you see a commercial marketing gain as well? So feel free to answer this question. Who wants to be first?
I can go. It's a great question. Really, really great question. So first of all, I did not necessarily choose to go for the certification. That's the cherry on the top. I really chose the framework itself. So the framework is the one that gives the structure of thinking. It highlights opportunities. It highlights what has been done correctly. And then obviously it's wonderful to have the certification because it's kind of, it says, okay, you've done it. So it's a recognition. I think each business is different. In my case, as I was saying at the very beginning, I really chose it to put more structure in the way I create impact. I knew I'm creating the impact, but it was not structured, not strategic, a little bit all over the place. So yes, it was, if you like, for me, it was a strategic exercise to begin with. So the one that would put, if you like, the company on long term on a certain direction. And second one, yes, it has impact on operation. So it is, as much as it's a strategic exercise, I also considering as an operational exercise, because it really goes through how you lead your operations when it comes to suppliers, customers, or all these kind of things, at least in my case. So for example, and I just give very tangible examples of how it can impact, I mean, even the profitability of it, not just the marketing side of it. So there are questions around customer, around the impact that it creates, around feedback loops, around how you create even more benefits for them. So all these kind of questions, in effect, help you to create better products, better services, and increase satisfaction. And I already saw that, I started implemented or formalizing feedback loops. So that means customers are more satisfied, obviously it increased referral rates and so on and so forth. So this is just a very small tangible example. And there are many like this. Obviously is the marketing aspect for me would be the fact that, again, because I work with entrepreneurs who are already in this space of solving social environmental problems, they are very sensitive to, partnering and working with other companies that have their own values. So going through this process and eventually having the certification, obviously it improves, if you like, my brand equity and generally my marketing power. But that's just a tiny part of the whole process and in the end of the certification. So yeah, that's from me.
Thank you very much, Ioana. George, what do you think? What was the reason?
Yes, I'm in full alignment with Ioana. A very good question. Look, we pursued the B Corp certification primarily to align our operations with our values and ensure we were making a positive impact. I mean, that's how we started, and it's clear. Now, on the commercial side, it signals to the clients and to the partners an ethical commitment, and definitely in the long run, it will have, and we see some positive, commercial, let's say, rewards, or some stakeholders who feel similar with us come closer to us. But it's a great tool for improvement and for making sure that your company is definitely making an impact to society.
George, may I add a question, because you mentioned the relationship with your customers, and I can extend also with your suppliers and with the whole spectrum.
Sure.
So what was tangible that you have seen? I, for example, was looking at some research saying that the B Corp sales in generally tend to raise because they have more customers, they have more, as you said, more exposure. People know you are a B Corp, and then they want to work with you. Customers know, and they want to be part of you. So what did you observe? Was it something there, please?
Look, definitely, starting with suppliers who definitely were happy to know that they are a partner or distributor of products in Greece is a big corp. It definitely signals quality, ethos. They know that they will start a good cooperation. So we saw that already, and also it has worked with several customers. Now, to be clear, we are a B2B company, so one could say that our customers are not necessarily motivated by the same things that motivate us. We are not a B2C, so it's not that we come out to everybody, to all consumers. But still, even though we are talking about a business-to-business venture, we have seen among several customers, definitely, for example, price-wise, they would be eager to pay for our product a small percentage higher, knowing that it goes to a big corp. These are things that we have already seen, although it's really early to have a full, a full picture. It's
yes, I understand. I understand. So basically, customers would like to pay more to work with you, you would say, which is good. I think it showcases something a little bit more, yes. But
yeah,
it goes for a B Corp.
Yes, yes.
Yes, absolutely. Unfortunately, Maria Desmirean had to leave, but I'll pass the question to her as well. And we have another question from Ronald. He says, why did you went for B Corp instead of going for ISO 26000? For some of you who do not know, ISO, it's ISO 26000. It's about corporate responsibility. So the CSR corporate responsibility. It's a standard. It's so it has to be audited by a certified company. I don't know about Ioana, but maybe I can go directly to George. Did you look at the standard, George, before 26,000?
Look, yeah, first of all, there is no competition between ISO 26000 and B Corp. We have ISO 22000, we have ISO 9001. We definitely consider it for next year. What I liked in what is different, let's say, there is no question in ISO 26000 that asks you to divide the salary of the CEO to the salary of the least paid employee. And if it's not a big difference, you get more points. If it's huge difference, you get 0 points. So, meaning that the orientation is different. I definitely applaud companies with ISO 26000. I might even try to do that next year. But I mean, just going through the impact assessment and reading through the questions will definitely give you an idea where the difference lies between the two standards.
Yeah. Thank you. I actually like what you're saying. Please, Ioana, go.
I want to add something which is kind of in between Ronald's two questions. And I know that I've been asked this question many times, like, where's the commercial values? Like, why would you go with this framework, not with the other one? So, and I want to kind of bring it in a bigger context. Some things, first of all, there is commercial value, just to be very clear, but some things you don't necessarily do for commercial value. So it has so many benefits beyond the commercial. So I think Nicola was saying at the beginning, that was all about, when the movement started, it was about good practices and standards. And this is so, so valuable for a business, especially when when you want to scale up. So having those documented practices, good practices, standards, policies, it really puts the business, you have the founder, then you have the team, they all work in sync. So it's really, really valuable to go through this exercise. And then, even if sometimes you cannot measure the impact of, all these good practices and all these standards, it will definitely end up in better commercial value. I mean, even if you get investors or if you want to sell the company, they will be looking at these kind of things. So it really increases the value of the company. So I'm always saying it's important to look at the commercial value, because obviously you spend a lot of time, you go through the process. When there are big teams, they spend a lot of time on doing this, but there's more than the commercial value itself and the marketing value. It's the, if you like, the operational alignment, the good standards that are really for long term. So once they set in, it puts the company on a very structured direction.
Thank you very much, Ioana. And because you mentioned investors, I got a question: how are investors relating to B Corp, and if they know it, if they like it, if it means anything for an investor to invest in a B Corp? I have to repeat myself. So there is a beautiful paper that you see also in my presentation, which is a sort of a guide to investors for B Corps, and it says there, by one of the top investing firms in New York, they say that it would be foolish for a CEO not to look into such a certification, because it brings a lot of awareness of how the risk in that company are managed. It's not that there are no risks. They are, of course, like in every business, but it's a certitude that that management team knows their impact, knows where they sit well, where they don't sit so well, knows the gaps, and they will fix it. Yeah. So it's first of all, as you mentioned, you want an exercise to look beyond, and to look deep, as George said, to look deeper with questions and questions and questions, and go deeper and deeper into the business model to see from where it comes really your impact. Because if you know the roots, then you can also know how to increase it, or if it doesn't exist, maybe how to plant the seeds of your impact. And another example that I can give you, it's a company, it's a startup actually, that didn't have so much let's say power or money, or they didn't scale so much because they were 3 years on the market, so it was a medium activity. But they scored hugely when they did the BIA, and they did it with me solely, without wanting to become B Corp. They said, okay, let's look at the impact we have so far in these 3 years and how we can increase. And after that, they showed it to some investors that were interested, and the investors said immediately, yes, we would like to invest in you. You don't have the organization now, and you're at the very beginning, and there is so much to be done, but we like what we see. We like how you position yourself. You like what customers you want to tackle, that you have so diverse ideas to expand. So we would like to expand with you. And that was, for me, something that I said, okay, maybe financially they weren't the biggest choice, but impact wise served as a bonus to the decision making. I'd like to ask you, George and Ioana, because now you've been through this process, and of course you have your own lessons. So if you would talk to another entrepreneur or CEO or manager who wants to look into the B Corp and is not sure, it's looking at other, let's say, existing on the market similar, what would you convey to him or her? What is your lesson that you got going through this process? Please, which one wants to start?
I could start this time, Ioana.
Come on, George. Yes, you start first.
First of all, I would say that it's a lovely community. You even see that here in that we are B Corps, and it's a beautiful community that you can make a very nice network with other companies. But now about the process, what I would suggest is, like, I would recommend create, as you said earlier in your presentations, create a username and a password, and whenever you have time, just start with the B impact assessment to see where you stand, which is honestly the fun part. Check your scores, see areas of improvement, start tweaking your answers. And when you feel ready for the certification, go for it. It's a smoother process, much smoother than you might anticipate, and it's truly rewarding. That's my suggestion, my advice.
It's I was smiling because I remember myself in those first days when it's like, shall I go with this? What is this? Is it really aligned with what I want to do? So there's so many questions, and I remember myself having all these questions. So my suggestion will be first to step back and ask, why do I want to do this? What am I trying to achieve? And then there's so many things that could be, there's no one thing. So be very, very clear with that. And maybe B Corp is the best alternative, maybe it's not. So having, that clarity of why you want this. And second, what has been really, really, really helpful for me, and I say everybody the same thing, take the time to talk to a B leader. So I know we had that session, Corina, and it has been so, so helpful because I had so many questions in my head that I couldn't answer. So having that, whether it's half an hour, 1 hour discussion, presentation, whatever it is, just to understand in more details the process and how it unfolds, how it can help, having examples and so on. I think it really then helps as you get started, if you decide to get started, to do it with commitment. Because I remember once everything was clear in my head, I said, yes, I want to do this. And I was fully committed, which means that, when maybe there was some difficult questions or some things took a bit longer, I said, no, I really want to do this. So I wasn't kind of flopping or trying to give up or anything, because I knew what's ahead. I knew why I want to do and what's this all about. So that will be my suggestion. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Ioana and George. And as we go very close to ending our beautiful event, I don't want to keep you any longer. We have been together for an hour and a half. I'd like to address maybe some last, we have a question, but maybe we will answer separately just to keep in time. I'd like to invite Elena and Irina, just the last word from our partners, Good South Community, in closing this event.
Well, I just want to express my gratitude. I feel really joyful is the right word. I see we are now a small group of people who are really committed to make a difference in the world. And I trust the journey, and I trust it will be growing organically as we wished for. And it's happening. So I really want, again, to thank you, Corina, for being with us, for us being together on the journey, and I really trust it. So thank you again, and especially to Ioana and George for the inspiration. It's a big boost. This journey is worth it. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone on my side. It was a really useful, inspirational, and impactful meeting today. Because you are a great example that we can share with our colleagues, communities, and I am so impressed by Ioana and George, your input to the environment, leadership, and market, as well, Maria. They replaced the plastic, which is amazing achievement, even though she's not here. Thank you, Corina. Thank you, Elena, and everyone for being with us today on this purposeful meeting.
Thank you very much, Irina. Thank you very much again to our speakers, and to everyone who took the time to spend this afternoon with us. This will not going to be the only event. There are going to be more events, so I will continue to invite you and to bug you with invitation and emails and ask to speak maybe in the future. But I think that today we have managed to be an inspiration for Romanian companies, for Bulgarian companies, from Greek companies, from everyone in the Southeast that is looking towards the B Corp certification, wants to follow your model. Thank you again, everyone, for coming. Thank you very much, and wish you a wonderful afternoon.
It was great
to
see you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye.
Bye. Thank you, everyone.
Bye-bye.